The following program is a Nighthawk Network presentation. The following program is a Nighthawk Network presentation.
Good evening, my good people. Your boy E-Buck is here in the building once again. It's Wednesday, so y'all know what time it is. It's time to talk to sports. And don't nobody talk to sports like us here on the show we call the Guru Sports Session. Of course, as always, I tell you at this time, we cannot have the Guru Sports Session without my man, the Guru himself. That would be Hugh Lee. What's going on, Hugh?
What's good, E-Man?
Okay, as y'all can see, we look a little different. We didn't have to go back to our good old StreamYard. We won't bury you with the details, but we're still working out the processes. That's why Hugh got a set and I don't, and computers, and it's a lot going on outside of the network. But rest assured, we here for y'all to take y'all away from a little time to talk other stuff because we both need that this week. Do we not?
Because I had some funky stuff on my end on EV Mux for a while. And I was telling you was like, well, that's strange. I never had that problem. Then you started to finally get those problems I was having. And that's why when you was ready to, figure it out and come back to StreamYard, by that time I was already over EV Mux, man, and wanted to just, have it to where we can be regular. And I feel like the upgrades over here are just fantastic, man. So, yeah, I'm definitely along with the ride, man. Definitely happy to be back.
The important thing is we'll be able to see the comments now. Remember, of course, we're recording, but I will be going live as we are now. So y'all make comments. I will react to them live. I might even do a pop-in and discuss some things if necessary. But we do see y'all comments. That was part of the problem we had with EV Mux. They weren't showing us all the comments. So if you're tuning in from Facebook and YouTube, and we're gonna try to access the IG possibly, we'll work things out. But anyway, back to our regular scheduled program. We're talking sports. There's a lot to talk about. Let's not hold them up. Hugh, let's go.
World Baseball Classic, man. How do you feel seeing that 8-0 debacle, man? They looked like they was coming back, but then I wasn't too mad at them. I said it was too little too late, man. I just felt like when they tried to make that miraculous comeback, it was too late. But at the same time, E-Man, I told you before, and I feel bad feeling this way. I really don't care too much about what goes on in the WBC, man. I'm ready for the season to start, man. So, and then plus when I found out that Terry Scuba was like, man, I'm coming back, man. I was all dialed in on the Detroit Tigers. What we gonna do? But what was your thoughts, regardless of the fact of that loss? Because I don't really still feel like it's a really big threat.
It's kind of hard to set up. Remember, we playing these games now during spring training because we really didn't want the Classic to be during the season for the possibility that somebody might get hurt and that throws off their season in the regular season. But that also being said, we got two things going on simultaneously. We got the World Baseball Classic, but we also got players playing in the minors. So there's a lot of back and forth going on. They may be playing that day in the World Baseball Classic, but then the next day go back to where they're playing at.
It's been messy.
That's kind of weird how that is. Then, of course, we got some players that's actually in MLB. Some of the players are in the minor league. Some of the players are in leagues all across the world. Korea and Mexico and Puerto Rico. The international flavor of it is cool, but it's just kind of clunky. But now what I really found to be weird is how they doing who goes to the next round. part of it is the win-loss record of the teams, but the bigger factor apparently is the point differential. So keep in mind, United States only lost one game, but it's a possibility that if Mexico wins tonight, but they don't win by a certain amount, we eliminate it. If Italy wins, apparently we in there automatically, no matter what happens. But it's just weird that it's set up like that.
Yeah, I just don't like the format, man. And that's why when I was telling you, I'm not even trying to be funny when I say that, man. I just didn't really care about how it was set up. And I was like,
right. And of course, it's not an every year thing. It's like an every 2-3 year thing.
Absolutely. So I'm more into the MLB season.
Right. I love my baseball, so I watch because of that. But I probably, I might check in on the final, but I don't care as much. No.
I'm just ready for the season to start, to be honest.
Absolutely.
With you, man.
As always, y'all, we will be doing our baseball preview in a couple weeks. So tune in for that.
Yeah, because like I was telling you guys, man, for the baseball fans out there, man, I'm just more or less dialed in on March the 25th, man, to get here. Because that was a really special time of year for me. Me and Pops always used to watch Opening Day, and we used to get the MLB extra innings, man. And I actually spoiled him to the point where he didn't want to go to games. But can you blame him? Why would you want to go to a game in like a Tigers game at that? By that time, no disrespect, we were doing good, but it was like if we was losing, why would we just want to just stop everything we doing after paying all our hard-earned money on buying stuff in the concession stands and then, up and leaving if we lose when we could just change the channel. So that's when I was like, man, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool, man. I still have it that way regardless, but yeah, I'm just ready for the regular season to kick off, man, and see what we do, man, and how we gonna do things, right, and how things gonna operate this season.
And again, for you diehard baseball fans, something I would suggest to you, because it's actually on sale now. If you go to Amazon and you look up, by far probably one of the best documentaries, long form documentaries of all time, Ken Burns Baseball, actually won awards and everything. They do now have that whole box set on sale now. I believe it's $30. And it goes from like the very beginning of baseball to, I believe, 2020. And they talk about all the great players, the rule changes, what happened during the war. It's a
arbitration.
Granted, it's 22 hours worth of watching to do, but again, it's one of those things you can watch on a rainy day, or catch up on as you try to go to sleep or what have you. I highly suggest. Again, it's Ken Burns Baseball.
And it's definitely the time of year, definitely the day that you could just do that, man. It looked like it was about to be dark all day, and it rained all day with the little full access flooding.
Absolutely.
But yeah, man, I want to move on now, man. It's dark and gloomy here. Just in case you didn't know, I'm a March Madness preview, man. Out of all the teams and stuff that's going on right now, man, it's sad to say, man, because we are huge advocates to the women's basketball, man. But
absolutely,
the guys are doing pretty good too, man. AJ Savannah just hit another 40-point game, man. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what some of these rookies got to do. Your Cameron Boozer. You got Cameron Boozer. You got AJ Savannah. Darren Peterson. And there's a lot of guys that's out here in league and going to be playing, man. And I just want to know your thoughts on as far as the men's side. What do you think as far as out of the teams, man? Because I think one of the two of the Final Four teams I wouldn't mind seeing is Duke and Michigan. I would like to see that rematch, man. But who do you think are the teams that'll be able to fill that slot, man, once they get to that Final Four?
The beauty of it is I don't really have a great feel for it. I think Michigan and Duke could get the Final Four, but it would not surprise me if either one of those teams go down before that. That's the beauty. That's why I think we're in for a very good tournament this year, because after that first round, I think anything happen. I definitely think it's going to be one of those years that once we get to the Sweet 16, they'll be saying there was no perfect brackets. Ain't nobody winning that $1 billion they usually do every year now. And it's going to be some teams like, how the hell they make it to the Sweet 16? Never heard of this school in my life, that type of stuff. And I think those make for the better tournaments in the end. And the end is definitely going to be one of the big schools that probably wins it this year. But would not be surprised if some of the ones we think gonna get there don't get there.
Because it's all about just
the women's tournament. I think it's a little bit more defined as to what we're looking at. We know how that usually go. The first couple rounds is gonna be the games that was kind of interesting. It's gonna be a couple. Okay, they did all right, but then the major people, the UCLA's, the South Carolinas, the LSU's, the UConns of the world. Those first two rounds, they're gonna probably be at home because that's how they set up the women's part.
That's why I like the women's better.
Blow those booties out of existence.
When you get that home field advantage, man, because the men's is so clunky, man. And I thought that by now they would have finally got that together.
Right. So remember, they started doing the women's tournament that way because remember, outside of certain schools, wasn't nobody really going to women's games like that in the 80s and 90s and 2000s. But now because women's college basketball is so popular, particularly in certain spots, it only makes sense to have them at your UCLA's or at your UConns or whatnot because you already know it's going to be sold out.
It was cool too how the game grew for the women's side of the basketball and college sports because at one point remember I told you I stopped watching the women's side, man, and when I told you what happened, when I told you the team that won, you was like, damn, you ain't watched since Mississippi State won the championship, so you knew I was behind.
No, Louisiana Tech, you see.
And then when I got back into it, man, I was like, okay, man, I definitely feel like the game elevated. You had more talent, and it was just a whole nother level of play, man, and which I appreciate. But I love the home field advantage, at least for a couple of games until we get into the other rounds, man. That give you a feel for the game, and at the same time, you don't got to be moving back and forth because remember that year when Kemba Walker and UConn won? That was a good ass year too, man. But remember how fatigued those boys was. Those dudes had to play 5 games on the road. You don't want to see that.
Right.
Make it to the point where them teams at least be at home to where they don't overexert themselves, man. I think that was a little overkill.
Right. Then, of course, there's those years where those schools that come out of nowhere, like that, what was that, the Mount Mary's, St. Mary, whatever team was from Chicago.
St. Mary's was nice, wasn't they?
Right. The year Texas Tech basically won it all that year.
What was that team? They was like a team we ain't never heard of, man. They was like purple and yellow, man. They had the it was an Arabic center on that team.
I remember remember the school that had all the people that like to dunk, was that the Florida school? I can't think of the name of it at the moment.
I miss those days, man, with them teams.
Florida Gulf Coast, that's it.
What was their name?
Florida Gulf Coast.
That was them, man. Dude, they was upsetting everybody, man.
Right.
And remember North Carolina State was breaking people's hearts, man.
Right.
With the big guy, man.
I remember a couple of years ago when Oakland U made it to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, we was happy, man. Oakland U had some bombers too on that team. They had some good shooters. So yeah, man, I hope we could get more of that, man. Like we was talking about before with the NIL and some of the deals and things that's going on now and just how it is in college, man, we might not see a lot of that, man, but I'm definitely hoping so. Even if it's not one of those Cinderella type teams, at least a lower seed, man, an A seed going far, like to the Elite 8 or something, I'd be satisfied with that. What is your thought?
Remember last year on the men's side, pretty much went chalk, as they call it, where who you expect to win for the most part. That don't make for such a good tournament. I like when you get the upsets in the schools because, having been to a mid-major school myself, and we went to the Sweet 16 while I was there, man, the parties we had. So that's what I always think about when those type of schools win, and it's like, for that week, yeah, we this, and then all of a sudden ESPN is going to a campus it ain't never been on, talking to people that, damn, they know about our school now? Yeah, because y'all in that tournament, baby.
It's pretty cool to have that feeling too, man, because I just love it, man, and that's what makes the
right. And then, I like on the women's side, usually the smaller schools, they don't usually make out too well.
Not at all.
That one player that you ain't never heard of, be like, but damn, she could ball though.
Yeah.
You look up a couple weeks later when they had the WNBA draft, like, oh, they go old girl. You remember her? Yeah, I remember her.
Because I remember it's just a lot of women, man, and you don't think that's gonna come out and be good, man. But my my homegirl Kate proved a lot of people wrong. Everybody was looking at your girl, Caitlin Clark, man. But now you look and you see other players, man, from that team, from that Iowa team, and just different people and just how they mold now and how just that Iowa brand, how well the Iowa brand is now, man. When it all started.
Remember, they didn't win a tournament this year, but they went to the finals against UCLA in the Big Ten tournament. So I definitely think they'll have a pretty high seed this year when they get to the tournament.
Yeah, man, because I like to see, just different teams, man, and just a different atmosphere. But man, I can't wait to that time, man. And the weird part about it too, man, is don't the men's side start on St. Patrick's Day? It's gonna be wild. Just think about it, man.
Well, no, actually, yeah, because remember, St. Patrick's Day is next Tuesday, and we always had that play-in part of the tournament that I always tend to forget about. So yeah,
it's gonna be wild, man. Just think about St. Patrick's Day and the tournament. Yeah, it's gonna be nuts.
That's an excellent mix, actually.
Oh, absolutely, man. It's gonna be a lot of parties, man.
I mean, St. Patrick's Day hit a little different when it's in the middle of the week as opposed to when it's near one of them weekend days.
Oh yeah, so. Cause I already know one of my homeboys, Corey, man, he already getting prepared, man. They doing some type of like little marathon or something, man, all the way until it goes to St. Patrick's Day. Okay. So I know he's gonna be wild and having.
And again, to my few people in the network that went to Eastern like myself, shout out to the Wooden Nickel. I know if you went to Eastern, you know all about the Wooden Nickel. They used to open at 5 a.m, Hugh. Nickel beer, dog. The nickel green beer. So people was going to class 8, 9 in the morning, drunk as a skunk already.
That's funny. It'd be tough going to class.
Right, but no, the munchies and stuff they used to have, and they used to have people lined up the night before to go in there, boy. Wasn't nothing like it, man.
Yeah, I want to talk about the NCAA rule that we I know you heard of this and you probably looked it over too. NCAA announced Tuesday that it will begin monitoring its officials in this year's basketball, baseball, and softball championships. ProHiBet, a technology by Integrity Compliance 360 that cross-checks and anonymize identification data in sports bags and sports books to flag impersonable bettors. So they basically saying, man, they just checking on referees and everybody too, and just in general into the sport and tracking them on the betting market, man, to make sure that everybody's doing things and doing it straight down the middle. So I guess they feel like some refs must have something to do with it, or if they feel like if they're betting and they're doing something as far as they have a team in the tournament, that, they want to make sure that they calling it fair, man, and calling these games down the line. What is your thoughts of that? Do you think that's bizarre? Do you think a lot of that's going on now? They're like, okay, I'm a ref and I feel like I'm betting for this team, so I'm going to give them all the heavy calls or give them more of an advantage because I feel like if I do that, they can advance versus the other team who I don't really have no stakes into. Do you really think that they doing stuff like that? Did the game really get this bad?
Okay, first of all, can you hear me a little better now?
Yes, I can.
That's funny because I actually had the microphone behind I switched stuff around because of the scenario. But anyway, yeah, usually about this time you mention something and a song will pop in my head and I'll get to sing to everybody else. So we can do that now. For that mean green.
Is it really that bad though, man?
It is that bad. I mean, because think about it. We didn't already seen certain cases that the government had looked into about this whole gambling thing and how it's been affected. You know how these things work. You know this person a ref, but on the other hand, in his other life, he got a gambling problem. He go to Vegas all the time. Nah. Suddenly, his credit ran out. He's $50,000 in debt. Vegas being what Vegas is, some of the people catch up with him like, hey, buddy, you owe us 50 G's. You want to get rid of that debt? Here's what you need to do. When Mama plays Gonzaga, you're going to look the other way, okay? And then your debt will go away.
You think that's what they do in the game?
I think that's exactly what's going on in some of these cases. Maybe not to the cartoonish degree I just laid out, but yeah, stuff like that going on, and they know it's going on. That's why they doing this.
I just feel like, too, with this whole situation, man, it's just really we already talked about how it just messed up the game, man. But I'm just starting to get to the point where I'm losing all faith in college sports. Because when you look at it, man, we love college, man, because we felt like it wasn't tainted like other sports, man. The NBA betting, the NFL betting. We've seen in some of the games, man, how they could change the scenarios of the game so fast. We feel it the worst most times, man, as Detroit fans when Rasheed was always saying the ref was out to get him. And we like, man, this guy might be paranoid. But then we found out that the guy not only fixed that San Antonio series, but we were up and he said, oh, man, the Pistons, you think the Pistons are going to win? How about I bet they won't? And he made sure we didn't win. But at the same time, they didn't do anything like, oh, man, we're going to take them games away from them because of the betting and give it to the team. It never worked like that because they felt like they could get more money in the San Antonio Spurs win versus the Pistons going back to back. And just things like that just make the sports diluted, bro. And that's what I don't like about it. But at the same time, it ain't nothing we can do about it. I mean, that's just the game, man. We know that Vegas got their hand in it, and Vegas gonna always win.
I mean, it's like I said, once they open that Pandora's box, there wasn't no coming off of it. You sound crazy now, like, you know what? We changed our mind about the whole sports betting thing. Y'all can't bet on sports no more. It's too much money involved at this point. We're talking billions and billions of dollars that get spent on Super Bowl day alone.
And they talk crazy stuff on some of these bets.
You already know March Madness is buku money jumping off.
Oh, absolutely. Because remember, man, in the Super Bowl now, man, they have on the Super Bowl to bet. What do you think is going to be, heads or tails? It's just crazy.
No, it's crazier than that. Like, okay, how long is the national anthem going to be? Are they going to hit this note? It's all type of crazy bets.
And
will Bad Bunny bring out Cardi B? Will he bring out this person? It's already bets on who's going to be the Super Bowl halftime person next year. It's bets like that out right now.
You think your homegirl going to get tired of sitting around and just go ahead and do the damn thing? Travis Kelce's fiance.
Okay, quick discussion on that. It's three things I would like to see for Super Bowl halftime show. Yes, even though I'm not a Swiftie per se, I would like to see her do it. She's going to put on a good show.
You know how much money she bring? Hell yeah, do it.
Absolutely. Two,
I'm the last.
I'm liking the idea that the Backstreet Boys have brought up, having a Super Bowl halftime show with all the boy bands. That would be awesome, especially if they add the black boy bands. In other words, the new additions.
So everybody, I would like that, man, because that
would be cool as hell. And three, I know it's been some blowback on this, but honestly, who would put on a better show not named Taylor Swift that hasn't done it already than one Chris Brown? I know it's the whole blowback about the reality thing back in the day and whatnot, but Chris Brown puts on a hell of a show.
He always puts on one of the best shows, man. So I would like to see that. And then the boy band idea was pretty cool too, because man, a lot of people don't know. Low key, I'm a huge boy band fan. From the New Edition, Backstreet, and NSYNC, man.
I'm a music person, so I smurf all that, NXS, all that stuff.
See that. Just
95, 96 degrees, all up.
Just imagine New Kids on the Block, and
right. Even if they do a couple of girl bands in there,
to the new,
the 3LWs and the those type of bands.
Yeah,
Expose, hell, we can go back there.
That'd be pretty cool, man. I'm with
it. It would.
All right, E, man. I just hate that about the whole gambling world, man, and how it diluted college, man. But that's too much money in sports, though.
I mean, in the end, it's the new world order, okay? Yeah, us pure to the game type people feel a little different about it, but in this new day and age, it fit where it fit,
No pun intended.
No pun intended.
All right, E, man, let's get to it, man. It's not really a lot that I've seen in the NBA to make me say, oh, this or that. But this one story gonna make us talk about it for a while. Bam Adebayo, man.
Whoa, wait. Before we go there,
hit the commercial.
Take our commercial break.
Okay.
We need to get into this. This is a major accomplishment, and I kind of hate how it's been talked about. We're gonna get into it after this commercial.
Okay, we're gonna have to take a deep breath.
The Guru Sports Session. I'm your boy E-Buck. That's my main man's Hugh Lee. Love you, bruh. I know that's rando as hell, but sometimes I gotta let you know. No homo, no giddy, all that, whatever y'all want to throw on that. But anyway, We'll be back after these words for the Nighthawk Network. Nighthawk Network, our voices, our people.
A new podcast is hitting the YouTube and Facebook streets called Speaking Freely with Miss Gigo. If you have listened to the audio version, you are going to like this one. Come join Miss Gigo every Sunday at 10 p.m. where she will be discussing different topics you can give your opinion on. This is your chance to be part of the conversation and share what's really on your mind. Speaking Freely with Miss Gigo, where your voice matters.
This is the story about an African-American woman who is passionate about professional wrestling and goes to countless events. She then, one day, gets the idea to start a wrestling talk podcast to talk about her favorite wrestlers and wrestling programs. She has a home podcasting room full of wrestling memorabilia that she uses to do the show, and every week you can tune in and join in the conversation.
On rise going like that, brother.
Heck, somebody getting hit for real. Anyway, we are back. This is the Guru Sports Session. My man, the sports guru in the house, E-Buck, also here talking sports, and we about to get into something that in our wildest dreams we did not expect to happen last night. Talk about it.
Bam Adebayo, man. I'm chilling, man. Just minding my own business. We texted back and forth. Nothing really big happened until I went and seen that crazy news. We're going to talk about that a little later. But I was like, man, Bam got 43 at the half. Man, I look up, and then after the game, man, I was like, man, you got to be kidding me, because I turned the game on at that point. Bam Adebayo had the second most points in NBA history with 83 points, passing Kobe by 2 points. And, of course, that 100 points from Wilt Chamberlain, man. People trying to knock on that door, man. What was your thoughts of that game? Because like a person like Bam Adebayo would have been the last person like we talked about that I would expect to get those points. Because this season high, like you said, what was this season high again? 40, 41?
Hold on, good people.
That's double.
I know y'all not hearing what we just said. Yes, Bam Adebayo had 83 points last night in an NBA game. Now, let's first of all talk about the record. Remember, the record is the 100-point night that Wilt Chamberlain had. Remember, there's always been some type of trepidation about saying that's the record because for whatever reason, there's no video footage of that game that we know of to this day. It's people that's been there, so that's why we verified as such. But, it was basically in a place they normally don't play. It wasn't as many people there that night, so on and so forth. All we know is the 100 jumped off. But, in terms of the games we've actually seen, this is the most points anybody scored in a game. Remember, Bam Adebayo, for his career average, is about 18 and a half points a game, 19, something like that.
Yeah.
His career high was 41 going into this game. He had over 41 before the half, okay? Crazy. By his own admittance in the press conference, he was like, for somebody that's came in the league and wasn't really known for scoring at all, more for his defense and that type of stuff, for me to have this type of night is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. It is. Don't go thinking that, okay, I got a little NBA skill. I could have did that if they would have let me do A, B, C, and D.
No way.
No. You are wrong. Understand, it took a certain set of circumstances for that to happen. First of all, yes. As it's been pointed out, it was against the Washington Wizards. Hugh, we know the deal. The Wizards is straight butt cheeks, okay? They is god awful. one of the worst teams you will see in the NBA. They ain't as bad as our Pistons was a few years ago, but they right around that, okay?
Right, they knocking on that door, though.
They made Trey. I mean, I know you looking at a team that technically has Trey Young and technically has Antonio Davis on it, but right now, since they ain't really playing like that, we got what's left. They got them couple first number 1 draft picks, and they not doing nothing. Alex Sarr, remember, he was number 2 or number 1 pick a couple years ago in that draft that we don't care about. You see why we don't care about it. His defense was atrocious last night because Bam on a lot of those shots was wide open.
That draft too was like probably one of the worst because we didn't know
absolutely
half those guys on that team, man. And when I seen that, I said, okay, yeah, like we said, man, you know, we're still giving him his flowers, but we know what team he took too. So I believe that helped out a lot, man.
So yeah, and when some people had something to say about it today, they mentioned that you got to take that into consideration. 2, yes, he did break the NBA record last night for most free throws made in a game, okay, as part of making that happen. But think about it. It only makes sense. This dude start out the first quarter with like 20-something points. No, I think he had 30 points actually in the first quarter. At that point, hell yeah, you're going to deem up and foul him. It only makes sense.
Yeah,
he went to the line a lot of damn times. Don't be mad at him because he got fouled and he made most of the free throws. That's stupid. You spoke. I mean, if you can't check him, you gotta foul him.
Yeah, man, I like Bam and what he's done, though, man, because you see the hard work in his game and how he stepped his game up. He, at one point, like you said, he was just strictly known for his defense. And, you know, he was a good under the basket type player, man, you know, to put back in, tip dunks and layups. But, you know, he worked on his complete game, man. You know, credit where credit is due, man. He basically, when you're in a relationship with a strong woman, man, and you, I believe a lot of times, man, that woman make you better and help you out, man. You always see that, man. A woman that helps boost your confidence, and you do the same for her. It definitely helps, man. And him and Asia Wilson be working on their game, man, and their support for one another. But yeah, man, it's incredible because I remember seeing that she scored like a career high in WNBA with 53 points, and he turned around and hit 83, man. And that's just really cool to see those moments. And like you said, man, it's still on video, man. And if people don't see it, man, y'all probably watch NBA Rewind or what have you. There's different ways you can check it out, or even on YouTube. So, yeah.
Okay, yeah. You know, if we remember tonight, we'll go ahead and put the link up on there on the feed. But keep in mind, here's the final stats for him in that game. Had 83 points in 42 minutes, okay? So didn't even play the whole game, man.
Yeah.
7 for 22 from three-point land. Of course, people talked about that. That's just this day and age of the NBA, okay? Understand, no, he's not no great three-point shooter. He never was. He was 20 for 43, okay? Yeah, he missed over half his shots. In order to get 80 points, you're going to have to take a lot of shots. When Kobe did 81, he took a lot of shots that night. I know you're saying, okay, well, they won by 21. That game was contested most of that game, amazingly enough, so it do kind of speak to how not great the Heat is also. If they gave up 129 to the Wizards and it took 150 to beat them. But anyway, he had also 9 rebounds, 3 assists, and 5 turnovers. Okay.
So he was a hot hand. He was definitely the high hand.
No, and if you watch the game itself, you'll see at some point they start to realize, like, this nigga hitting down to everything. Give it to him. Give it to him. Give it to him. Because remember, his teammate Fonseca, he had 18 points. Former Piston Fonseca, by the way. But yeah, it took 150 points to beat them, and he scored 83 of them. So it's not like he scored all the points. He scored more than half, granted.
Pretty much.
But you know,
nice amount,
it wasn't them. You know, now another thing they talked about here was the fact in the fourth quarter, they started slowing the clock down and fouling people on the Wizards so that would give them more opportunities to score and get him the record. Whatever, man.
Yeah,
whatever.
It still
I think I forget sometimes this is a game. It is here to entertain us.
Yeah, you can't
If
deny
you
that.
watched the crowd reaction last night, they was highly entertained. That place was unhinged. Every time he hit another shot, it was like, oh, he got 50. Damn, he got 60. Oh, he got 70. You know, if you was in the house last night, that's a game you will never forget a day in your life.
Absolutely. That's a game that you always remember, and it's good to see that game and check that out too. For like you said, the basketball heads, we'll make sure that we have a link or something that we can put, in the comments so you guys can check out that game because it was pretty good to see too. Because I was thinking that he might get close, but I didn't think he was going to get like to the 80. But then the past Kobe too, I was like, oh, that was kind of big,
Right. Now, you know how people get to mess around with stuff on the internet. Let me give y'all an idea right quick. Take the footage from that game and mix it in with Can You Feel It by the Jacksons. That would be awesome. And every time he hit that boy, can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? And then, have it to where he kind of had a golden glow and shit as you get closer and closer.
Because the internet be clowning now, man.
Yeah, I don't have the capability to make that video, but I know somebody out there do. So there's an idea for you.
Because I used to love like seeing those fights like the MMA and boxing and stuff. You know how somebody get hit and when they fall, they'll fall into a grave or something, man. Like those type of graphics. I want to see that.
Or like somebody will take the Rocky music and mix it in with some of the boxing highlights.
Oh yeah,
stuff like that. Yeah.
I want to ask you a question, man. Do you want to take another break, or you just want to get right into it? Because on this point, we got a lot to talk about.
All right. Well, no, we're gonna get into it now. Basically, we about to start talking NFL free agency, correct, Hugh?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, let me throw that on the board for y'all viewing pleasure. Plus, it'd be easier to make our clips later on. All right. Here we go. NFL free agency. A lot that went on because it jumped off Monday, supposedly. But we already know how that go. They've been making these deals in the works for weeks, some of them. So
for the last week or so, that's what made it so interesting because I was telling you, man, they already making deals within this week and they're doing all these crazy trades. I said it's going to get crazy. And then the cool part about it was Monday, it was just really crazy. I was super busy. I couldn't even really move. But then Tuesday came and it was low key. But then it was some big things that still happened, but it wasn't as much as, Monday. I think everybody was trying to settle down. There was a few deals here and there today, but the movement wasn't as fast. We kind of figured usually that third day, a lot doesn't happen, but the first day made up for any time that we've missed. And it was definitely appreciated too, man. But while we're getting into this, let's talk about the big story that happened and came out of yesterday, man. We had already seen the deal to transpire with, Max Crosby going to the Baltimore Ravens. And then when that deal transpired, they gave up 2 first-round draft picks. When that happened, I said, damn, 2 first-round draft picks, everybody else was saying a first and a second. So I was thinking, okay, they must have really wanted this man. And it got to the point where when he got there, the one best thing about the free agency, and I've talked about this and we talked about this before, it's not officially official until Wednesday after 4 p.m. That's when the contracts are official. So when Max Crosby signed the contract or they did the whole trade and he went over to Baltimore, the situation just got funky, man. When he was there, he felt physical, man. And I'm going to let you take over after I talk about that. He felt this physical, man, and we knew something was wrong with his leg, but he was saying he was fine. He was fine enough for himself to want to go and play. But then, the team and the franchise didn't want to put themselves at risk. And it was an ugly, separation almost with them where he left the team, didn't want to be bothered. And then things got a little nasty after that, man. But I want you to take over right now and express your feelings about how all this stuff transpired and what even happened, man. Because I've seen something similar to it, but not as big of a name as a Max Crosby for this to happen with.
Now, first and foremost, y'all, it's several different camps in this that come into play. Let us also mention the name Trey Henderson because he does come into this part of the conversation. All right. Now, first of all, Max Crosby, let it be made known about a month or two ago when he saw that the Raiders was in full rebuild mode. And at 29, he wasn't trying to be doing no rebuilding. he wanted to win somewhere. So yeah, y'all gonna trade me. Y'all on some BS. So at that point, it began. Max Crosby, one of the top 5 sack people in the NFL right now. Do keep in mind he did get hurt last year and is dealing with a knee injury and coming back from that. So it's not like teams didn't know this going into this thing, first of all. Second of all, here we are around the time, okay, we want to trade this dude. We want a first and a second or a first and a third, something to that effect. A few teams was like, yeah, I think we could work that on out with y'all and whatnot. So then here they go, okay, Max, what you want to do? Well, I kind of like this team, that team, whatever. And then all of a sudden, Baltimore's like, okay, they saying what now? We'll give you 2 number ones. Deal. Deal. Damn, that everybody else on that. Be 2 number 1 picks. Oh, yeah, we'll run that. We need these number 1 picks. We suck. So, yeah, the deal was made. Now, they fly to Baltimore. Remember, any deal in any of these leagues, whether it be NHL, basketball, baseball, football, MLS, wherever that WNBA, all these deals are pending on the physical that is given to every player traded when they get to the other spot. Because we know in the past, teams have tried to pull the okie doke on people, knowing that certain people was messed up and trade them. Then they get over there and all of a sudden they can't play and you jacked up. This happened years ago, I think, in the NBA. I want to say they dealt Michael Olowokandi and come to find out he had a torn ACL back when you couldn't really fix ACL. And ever since then, they then kind of had that as a stipulation, as I believe. So anyway, they do the physical. He doesn't pass their physical. Now, note I say theirs because every team has their own set of doctors that may not necessarily agree with the opinions of other doctors. According to the doctors that they've been seeing on the Raiders side, they're saying, okay, yeah, here's where you are. You should be able to be healthy by this time, okay? So obviously they pass that information over to the team he go to, but they always have their own doctors check it out in case those doctors is on that BS. Now, supposedly they went to the doctors and they was like, nah, bruh, this ain't quite what we thought. I don't know about this him. And they was like, so yeah, y'all passing him? No, we're not passing, bro. I don't think this gonna work. So at that point, they like, yeah, deal no good. Now, that's what we assume what happened. There's other scenarios at play here. First of all, we come to find out that when this deal didn't go down, all of a sudden, like damn near a couple hours later, here we go with the Ravens talking about, oh yeah, we about to get Trey Henderson right quick, 4-year deal, blah, 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 blah. Now, the reason why I was like, why is it all of a sudden like that? They're saying, oh, no, it ain't all of a sudden. We was trying to get both of them. But it just so happens that deal didn't work out. So we went ahead and got Henderson anyway, and we just going to charge him to the game, but run our picks back, run them back. That's one story. Mm-hmm. The other story is people are saying, okay, they got him there, and they got to talking to him and whatnot, plus the whole review of the medical record. It's like, this dude don't really sound like he want to be here like that.
And that's what I was thinking myself.
And from that, they saying, no, second thought, no, that's all right. He ain't passed physical. And that. Now, there's a third camp that says what happened was everybody involved didn't know the cost at the time. So when they gave up the 2 number 1 picks and they found out that's what it was like, that's what it cost for him, and he still look beat up? No, I think we should have did that. And then, as always, they ask, okay, did anybody else try to get him for that cost? Like, no, we was going to give him a first and a third and a fifth, though.
One team did that.
Or we was going to give him a first and a fourth, or we was going to get him our 1 and then our 3rd and 20, whatever the case may be. And it was like, you know what? We still would have made out good with that and not have to give up as much.
Yeah.
I don't think we should have did that deal. Can we get out of it? Yeah. This physical was kind of trash. Okay, yeah, we out. So I think maybe in time we might know what the real of it was. But long story short is I don't think they should have gave up the 2 number ones anyway for Max Crosby.
I feel like
There's only 2 or 3 players in the league I think is worth that right now.
Yeah, and I feel like that was way too much. The
Especially
issue was
an injured Max Crosby.
CJ LeBoy, his agent was pissed off and said they screwed us over, and then they brought up something that happened before too. I didn't know Jair Alexander when the Ravens tried to give him to the Eagles. He was injured. He had a situation that was going on where they was like, well, you know, he wasn't physically fit to be in this trade. And then that's when I think that it just went to a debacle, but it wasn't nothing that blew out of proportion like this Max Crosby deal. What happened was when that went on, all they did was said, well, you know, we want to get him here and we want to make the trade. When he got there, that's when he was having cold feet and he said that he wanted to take care of family issues and he retired. But yeah, I found out back even then he was banged up and they felt like that they was trying to get over on that deal with the Ravens. And CJ LeBoy brought that up. So he was feeling like, man, he didn't feel like they got the fair ordeal with this Max Crosby deal. But like you said, a lot of teams said the first and the second or first and the third, or some even said the first and the fourth. They wasn't trying to do 2 first, man. It was just too valuable today to give up that. And especially with a player who's still banged up and who had a messed up leg, because remember how it blew out of proportion where they were saying, your leg messed up, man. You're not going to play these next 2 games. We want to keep you healthy. And he going shooting basketball and shooting hoops on one leg, talking about I'm fine. Like, why are you still trying to play basketball and do that to prove yourself? And that's when I thought it was going to be a nasty breakup, man. But by him still being injured, it just didn't work out.
Yeah, so, you know, that's what that boils down to. But, of course, there was other deals. We talked about Trey Henderson, obviously. Again, I think the Ravens was trying to save face with this deal. I think they paid that brother way too much. But then I got to thinking about it, Hugh. This the NFL. Just because your contract say you get $120 million, it don't mean you get $120 million. Think about it. If you're a quarterback now in the NFL, it don't matter what they pay you. Think about it, Hugh. Dak Prescott got $60 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
Restructured his deal.
Yep.
Jared Goff, $50 million. Restructured his deal. Patrick Mahomes, what, $55, $60 million? Restructured his deal. And so on and so forth. So it don't really matter what they say they're going to pay you. What matters is how much guaranteed loot are you getting. That's the money.
And when that happened too, man, and then the whole Trey Hendrickson deal, man, I just thought that it got messy. And like you said, there's a lot more to it. We don't know. But I'm hoping that we can get to the bottom of it, because you thought that that was happening already, but then it just ended up blowing up, man. But I remember Anthony Barr, man. Remember him? The kid, he was like a linebacker for the Vikings. He was already traded, and he was going to be traded to the New York Jets. That's when the New York Jets was trying to bulk up to get at New England. And I believe around that time, that's when they made all these huge moves. And Anthony Barr was a really good linebacker too, so I thought that was going to be a good pickup. He ended up not going at that third day or the second day that night before it went over to the next morning. He decided he didn't want to leave, and he ended up staying in Minnesota. That's why they say pending physical. But at the same time, the player could even back out of the deal, man, because it's basically like me and you talking, and I'm like, okay, E-Man, I'll go to your team and I'll go to you for like this amount of money. And then when I do that, it's like a handshake, or like you just, a gentleman's, gesture, and you can either go by it or you can not go by it, and that's just the way it is. It's not official until that day, so yeah, anything can happen. So yeah, I was surprised, but I've seen it happen before, but not a player of his magnitude though. That's what made it more interesting.
True.
Yeah, man. Who do you think, like, out of the teams were the winners and losers too in this whole ordeal? Because I feel like the Raiders now, what the scary part is, they're saying the Raiders still could keep him on the team, and they're saying that he might stay on the team for the rest of the season because they still have the space for him. But look at all the people who they got, man. That was the part that I was concerned with, because I said, man, they went out on the shopping spree, when that happened. And it was just kind of crazy because I didn't think that was going to materialize that way, Ian. That was the problem, because I said, look at all the people that they basically have now, because it was teams that was, could have got to the point where they could have got affected by this. If, the Ravens wanted to be a-holes, they could have went back after Isaiah Likely. They could have went back after my man's what's the other guy? Isaiah Likely. They could have went after Tyler Lindenbaum and some of the big names that they lost in free agency when that deal didn't transpire. But I feel like they took the easy road and they said, well, man, we're just going to do the right thing and we're just going to get Trey Hendrickson. And that's what I believe that they ended up doing at this point.
I mean, is the Ravens one of the winners so far? I say no, because of how that went down. Clearly, I got to put the Raiders as one of the losers, because now they stuck with him. They've got to hope that he's going to be healthy, and more importantly, hope that they can get him to buy in to whatever they're doing over there. I was saying the idea where I would still have to try to trade him, knowing that now you'd be lucky to get the 1 first-round pick.
Yeah.
You definitely not getting 2 from nobody. Absolutely not. You're not getting a number 1 and a number 2 from nobody no more.
E, did you check your phone? E, give me 1 second, man. Give me 1 second.
All right. All right. While he was doing that, let's do a little live read with the commercials. Okay. Keep in mind, you are now currently watching the Guru Sports Session on the Nighthawk Network. This is Nighthawk Network. Our voices, our people. We have other shows in the network for you guys to tune into. So if you are viewing from the Nighthawk Network information page right now, you can also check out Rumble Time with our girl Queen Gemini. That was last night. Good show there. You can check out also the Indie Experience with Road Stardom. That show was after Rumble Time last night. Did that show. We also do the show Speaking Freely with Road to Stardom. That is on Sundays. You can check that out. And also you can check out Friday when we have Coach B and Straight Sports Talk with Coach Vincent. He will not be on the show this Friday. He is on assignment. He will tell you about that when he gets back the following week. But there will be a show on Friday. We're doing a best of show where we will play some of the video clips from some of the previous shows and have some discussions about those people there. That's what we're doing for this Friday. Also, in Project ebook, as I call it, some of the other things I'm doing that's in the network but slightly out of the realm of the videotapings. We have the radio station going right now. It is called Nighthawk, well, no, actually Hawk World Radio. I do believe I have an advertisement for that. Let me see. Stand by if I can find that for you. We will play it. If not, then we will not. And apparently we will not. But anyway, it is Hawk World Radio. You can find the link to that on my Facebook page, Eric Buckner. The pinned link is where you can find my station. It's All AI Radio, songs by myself and Road to Stardom. I think we will have some stuff possibly from Big Meech on the station sometime soon as well. For those of you who are following my station, Nighthawk Network Radio on Live 365, that one is now debunked, but there will be a new station on Live 365, probably. Interrupting the show to tell you that I did find that commercial. We'll play that for you right quick and get back to the show. Check it out.
From the heart of Detroit, a new sound takes flight. Hawk World Radio, powered by AI, made for your vibe. Local energy, global reach. Hawk World Radio Detroit, where the future of sound.
Either the end of this month or early next month. Currently, I think that will be eBuck Radio. And we'll tell you about that as that time comes. It looks like we got our brother Hugh back here. All right. Yeah. My other phone is charging on the charger. That's why I didn't see it. So if you text me anything, I didn't see it. But we'll talk about it after the show, of course. You good to go now?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Back to you, Hugh.
All right, man. Another thing I wanted to talk about too, as far as the free agent frenzy. we know how much money that was being spent. I think the teams who spent the most money was the Tennessee Titans and the Las Vegas Raiders. Do you think it was a team who actually did something that actually did a good job as far as they bettered their team and didn't have to break the bank? Like a team that you figure who was a team who was on the cusp, who has a good chance of making the championship run?
I had to kind of review the tape as far as who they made what deals. Keeping in mind that's like a fluid situation because we still got deals coming in. I would say a couple of teams that's definitely putting a good foot forward with that. I would say the Bears, definitely one of them. They definitely have spent the money and put it in places that make sense, keeping in mind that they were on the verge of a good playoff run last year. Now I think they set up to make an even better one this year. Another team I'm liking what they did was the Chargers. I like several of the moves they've made thus far, keeping in mind that, even if Patrick Mahomes comes back, it's probably not going to be till like early on in the season, not necessarily opening day. So I think their thought process is they can win that division if they put in the work to do so. So there's that.
What do you think about the Panthers too, man? Because they basically
I definitely like what the Panthers did also. I kind of hate that they lost their center because, of course, he went to the Lions. That was a good move for them. But, in terms of some of the moves they did make to bolster up that defense and work on some things offensively as well, I'm liking that. I'm curious to see what they do in the draft this year to kind of add to all that. But, yeah, definitely look like they're making strides because, remember, they actually did win that division last year.
Yes, they did.
NFC South, and that's NFC South been kind of weak these last few years. So I think they're setting themselves up very nicely to keep that party going.
Just the stuff that they did in free agency made me say, okay, man, they serious about trying to win, man. I feel like Jalen Phillips was a hell of a pass rusher. He's still young. He showed what he can do for the Philadelphia Eagles, man. He gave us fits when they played Detroit. And then Devin Lloyd is another good pickup, man. And then to get a good backup in Kenny Pickett, too, because not no disrespect to my boy Bryce Young, but he's fragile, man, and he get injured a lot, man. So at this point, if he get injured and be out a game or so, man, I still feel like Kenny Pickett's a okay quarterback. I don't think he's top notch. I don't think he's one of them dudes that you would be like, oh man, he could take us somewhere. I think he's a good journeyman, though.
I understand. It's not so much that Bryce is fragile. He's just little, dog. For an athlete, period, not just for a quarterback. He a little athlete, man.
He is.
I know that I think they got him listed at 5'10", 180. He ain't neither one of those. He probably closer to 5'9" and closer to 160, really.
Yeah, because he's a little dude, man. It ain't like he's nowhere near as big as they say he is.
No, he is not.
As far as the I had to take this there, man, and I had to get into this. How do you feel about some of these angry Lions fans right now who wanted Trey Hendrickson? They wanted every pass rusher they want, Cameron Jordan, anybody you name. And they were upset about a lot of the guys who left the team. And we kind of figured some of these guys was going to leave the team. And I didn't even break a sweater. I didn't even get upset about it. We knew Anzalone's getting up there in age. So I was like, okay, I'm not mad they're replacing him. The Meek Robinson, we know I like his attitude, but we kind of figured that he wasn't going to be on the team anymore, man. And then Raymond Khalifa, we seen my man's Tom Kennedy and how good he was of a returner. So we kind of figured that that's what was going to be his replacement. So it was a few guys that was like on the team and who's not on our team no more. So we kind of figured that this was going to be the case. And plus, the cap room wasn't as good. I feel like now when Jared Goff finally opened up his cap space, I said, okay, this could be a possibility for two things. Either they're going to try to get somebody now in free agency or see what they can get on day 3. The logical reason. I'm thinking, okay, they're trying to open up some money for this new Jahmyr Gibbs contract. That was my opinion.
Okay. There's 2 types of teams, well, 3 really. 3 types of teams we're dealing with. We got teams like the Jets where whatever they do is an improvement from what the hell went on, okay? It don't matter. They need damn near everything there, okay? You got the middle, And like it or not, Lions fans, we are in the middle, okay? We're on the one hand, we close to super playoff contention, but on the other hand, we right around the middle of the pack at the same time. I understand the records don't indicate what I'm saying the last couple of years, but truthfully, that's where we at, okay? That being said, the Lions seem to be doing with a combo, okay, let's get some good free agents, not necessarily great ones, that's cost effective, but also let's work on our player development. Because that's how we got here. If you look at that Lions squad, most of these people did not come from free agency. They came either by trade or by draft, and they developed them as players, okay? The Lions' thought process, to me, it appears, is that we're trying to sustain a long-term run as a good playoff-worthy team. We're not necessarily trying to win it now. Then, of course, speaking of that, there are like the 4 or 5 teams that look like we all in for right now, particularly teams like the Baltimore Ravens that seem to be doing everything possible. Teams like the Los Angeles Chargers doing everything possible so they can win now. The Rams as well, absolutely. So if you want the Lions to have that mindset, I remind you, go back 10 years ago. Remember those Lions? Remember what that looked like? Why can't we just appreciate what we got right now and celebrate that we do have a good team that may actually get us there? I understand you saying, but damn it, we ain't never been no Super Bowl. We ain't the only ones. We could be Cleveland Brown fans that don't seem to be having no hope no time soon or going no damn where. We could be Texas. We could be Houston Texans fans that ain't never been there. But look like, we kind of where the Lions is with it right now. We could be the 2 or 3 other teams that have never made it to a Super Bowl or never won one, like your Jacksonville Jaguars, Tennessee Titans, so on and so forth.
Yeah, sure that line though, they did a good job of that in free agency, low key. A lot of people ain't peeped that, man. And then do you think that we're going with our draft picks now because we got 9 draft picks?
Yes, we do at the moment.
Do you think we're going to go off the board or try to do any other stuff like, try to go after players in the draft, or we just going to stay put where we at? And that's what I believe is going to probably happen.
I disagree because you got to look at the past draft history of Mr. Holmes. He has been known to take a couple of those picks and move up, or take them and move back and get the player they really want. Remember, that's how we got last year's breakout star in the wide receiver room, young Tesla, because he made that move. And, some people like, well, man, there was too many picks to give up. I think that dude Tesla is a stud, and I think he's going to have a breakout season this year myself.
Yeah, because we got round 1, number 17, number 2, and round 2, 50. Round 4, 118. We got round 4 again, number 128 via Houston Texans. 57, 81, 205, 213, and 222. So we got like a 1st, 2nd, 2 4ths, 2 5ths, 2 6ths, and the 7th.
And obviously, whenever we have 2 of something in that round, those are the rounds you should be looking for us to possibly make moves to go up or go back or get more, whatever the case may be. We know in the end, we have done a decent job in free agency of bolstering some of that line. We're going to need some line help. We done let some of the defensive players go that was constantly hurt. We're going to need some defensive help. That defense overall wasn't that great last year at times. A lot of gamers. So, when you look at the Amik Robertsons of the world, decent cornerback, but small, okay? Outside of Justin Jefferson, who he seemed to be in that dude's head for some reason. Damn near anybody else of note that Amik was put on, tore him up.
And he was out of place too.
Right. Kobe Joseph is hurt. We know Brian Branch was hurt last year. It's Lions should be a playoff contender this year, but if you're thinking, okay, if they just make this move and that move, they'd be right there. Not so fast, my friends. And in the end, if you wanted the paying customers, they got them season tickets, and you mad, I can't be mad at you. You paying your hard-earned money to go to the most expensive game in the NFL. If you don't get what you want out the deal, I can't be mad at you for being mad. If you basic Lions fan A and just forgot the fact that it was a time where we barely had a quarterback, where we went 0-16, when the team sucked. And now at least we could watch the damn game and think 9 times out of 10 we might win and don't appreciate it for that. That's that. If you're just basically one of those fans that if my team don't win the Super Bowl every year, I'm disappointed, it sucks to be you.
The only time I really felt like that when Tom Brady was on the Patriots, but can you blame me though, at that point?
It's the reason why we have a salary cap, people. Everybody ain't gonna have a super team, okay? If you want a super team, play Madden. Because some of y'all can't even play Madden unless you got all the super team and the players from the past and whatnot. Sorry.
Hey, you watching me, man, because while you're not playing Madden like that, it's an all-Madden team, man. Well, you got to have that type of team.
Mm-hmm. I know I hit a little chord with you.
But no, man, it just really was one of them years where I said some of these people are overpaying, man, like they do every year. They're not still gonna make it anywhere, man, and that's just the way it is. And sometimes I don't care how good you think some of these deals are, it ain't gonna work out. Sometimes when they go to a different team and it be a different system, man, it just don't pan out the same way.
Exactly.
Remember my homeboy, what we thought was one of the best cornerbacks in the league? It was either him or my man Darrell Revis, Nnamdi Asomugha, of course.
Yeah.
When he went to the Eagles, man, he was getting cooked. He couldn't stay with a defender. He did good with the Raiders, but it was a different system with Philly, and it just didn't work out.
Best reason to remember Nnamdi Asomugha, and the best thing he did in his life, in my opinion, was marry Kerry Washington's fine ass and put some babies in there.
Yeah, because I really thought that he was going to be that dude, because everybody was saying Nnamdi Asomugha way better than Revis. I'm like, are you sure about that?
Speaking of Asomugha, you know what he's been doing lately?
What's that?
He's acting now.
Oh, yeah?
It makes sense. You got one of the best actresses on planet Earth as your wife. She probably put you up on game. Why not?
Absolutely, and I'm not saying he wasn't a good player. He was just he was a good player with the Raiders, but he didn't fit that system with the Eagles, and that's how it be sometimes, man. People think that since you went from one team to another, you're just going to be an automatic success, but it don't work out that way all the time. So, yeah, I'm interested in seeing how this year going to shape up and what's going to happen, though, man. But, yeah, man, it's just always, like you said, lively in the NFL, man, because even when you're not playing the physical part of the season, which is now, it really heats up and it gets interesting to make things pretty cool for the regular season. And definitely when it comes to some of you fantasy fans.
Absolutely.
All right, E-Man, anything else you want to hit on, brother?
Okay, I got a couple bits and pieces for us. First of all, can we both give a shout out to our Paralympic athletes? Not just the ones in the United States, but all of them. I hate that we don't put enough stock into promoting those games, putting them on TV, what have you. I know part of it is because some of y'all feel some type of way about seeing people that's disabled. It makes you feel bad and what have you. That's y'all problem to deal with. Everybody has somebody in their family that is disabled in some way, shape, or form, whether it's physical ailment or mental ailment, whatnot. It should be more commonplace for people to recognize that and acknowledge it, first of all. Second of all, think about it. Those, in my opinion, are some of the best athletes in the world for real, because think about it, on the one hand, here you is in the type of shape to where if you race a normal body person with no ailments or whatnot, you could beat them because you are in a better shape as an athlete, even though you may have a prosthetic or what have you. So there's that. Two, you go through life because more times than not, a lot of these disabled people, they became disabled. They weren't born that way. So that, you have to deal with the mental aspect of, damn, I don't have no arm no more. Damn, I don't have no leg no more. So you mentally get past that. And not only do you say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and try to live a normal life, but you say, I'm going to do better than normal. I'm going to become an athlete, an Olympic athlete, one of the best in the world, and win me some medals and whatnot, and be an inspiration to so many people. Because how could you not be inspired by somebody that maybe lost their arms or legs as a child, but went on to overcome that and become an athlete and one of the best in the world and win a gold medal. That's a story that a lot of people should want to see. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So
you know my favorite when it comes to Paralympic Olympics, man. Of course, my same one of my favorites all time. Regular Olympics. They killed it in the curling, man. I definitely enjoyed it.
What you say?
Yeah, I was loving the curling, man, when they was playing curling. Get back on screen, bro. That was a good event, man. I appreciated them doing that curling thing.
Somewhere my nigga H2 is laughing his ass off. Miss you, H2. But anyway, all that foolishness aside, yeah, shout out to the Paralympic athletes. Second, I also want to bring up that it's that time of year, y'all. Remember, we have other sports going on in college. We have the softball and the baseball going on. Shout out to all the softball and baseball players starting their season. You can always catch some of the highlights on your YouTube page. There's a young lady in Texas the other day. When I say she hit a bomb, that was so proper. She hit it over to the dorms and put a hole in the dorms. She hit the hell out that ball. If I remember again during the show, I'm going to put that link up so y'all can check that out. Powerful girl, okay?
One of my favorite times of year too, man, for the LLWS, man, the Little League World Series, one of my favorites, man.
And they getting all that started up early on. So, for those of you who are the moms and the sons and the daughters or the players in the Little League World Series and whatnot, shout out to y'all as well. But yeah, we do recognize some of our other athletes because, some people criticize us for not always talking about the sports outside of the major sports. But yeah, we do keep up with them and we do acknowledge those stories. And as we get some of those stories, if you want to send us some of them stories about people you would like to see us give acknowledgement to, by all means, hit us up on the messenger and let us know. We'll definitely talk about it.
Yeah, but he ain't gonna shy away from nothing like that, man. We talk sports, everything sports. If it's something that you want to talk about, hit us up in them comments, man. I know
absolutely. So
collaborate, talk about it.
Yep. Now, normally this would be the time where we have Hugh talk about what's going on. We don't have that capability over here at StreamYard, but I still will allow you the opportunity, Hugh, to discuss where you could be found and whatnot. And we'll have that, set up later on.
Okay, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, you guys can catch me at Sports Guru to You. I was very busy the last 3 days doing the Free Agent Frenzy. I appreciate the new people I got on there too as well. Whovi, WHOVI on Instagram, where we normally put most of our product and production of our promos. And then you can hit us up or you can hit me up too on TikTok as Hugh.Lee6. And if you have any questions or anything you want to talk to me about, you can get with me on sportsguru2you.com, at gmail.com. I'm sorry about that, you guys. But yeah, I definitely appreciate all the love I've been getting, man, especially like the YouTube love and just the people who've been giving more comments and, chiming in, because that's the main thing we would like for you guys to do. Just hit us up, holler at us in the comments, whatever you want us to talk about, or if it's things that you just want to share or just collab with us, man, and kind of talk to us about some of the things we putting out there, man, because we definitely put our voices and we put our work into it, and we appreciate the feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. Please give my brother a follow. You can also follow me on the Facebook under Eric Butner, and of course follow the Nighthawk Network information page. You can invite yourself over there and we will let you in, let you somebody quick. Also, we can follow me at EricHawk45 on Instagram, and you can follow Nighthawk Network, I believe it is, on TikTok. Basically, look up the Nighthawk Network symbol, you'll find it and go from there. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate y'all always. There will be no Two Unks Talking TV for a couple weeks. One, we trying to work out everything over here on the new platform. But two, we got some stuff going on. Not to mention next week is the tournament. And let's be honest, we ain't got time to be talking about no TV when we watching the TV. So that's what's going on with that. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Depending on how the tournament go, we may not do it the following Thursday either. You know how we is, Hugh.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Not to mention, I do believe opening day is around that day the following week also.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of good stuff going on, man.
So, rest assured, we'll be back on with Two Unks Talking TV. We still trying to figure out, however, what show we want to do next. Whether it's gonna be the show about the Fresh Prince or the show about the blaxploitation movies. If y'all have any input on that, by all means, please let us know, and we'll figure it out when the time comes.
And that'll definitely give us enough time to where we can kind of talk about it and get everything taken care of, so we can go ahead and set up that format for you guys too.
Yep, absolutely. Remember, Selection Sunday is this Sunday. So, of course, next week we'll devote a lot of next week's show talking about the NCAA tournaments and the men and the women's.
Absolutely.
So, all right, y'all, until the next time we come on the air again, thank you. We love you. As always, remember, don't stress, be blessed. When all else fails, put these two hands together and pray to the man to take care of the rest. Lord knows I've been doing a lot of that this week and will continue to do so. Pray for your boy in real life and for my brother in real life. For real, for real.
Appreciate it.
Until next time, y'all, throw the fingers up, you. Deuces.
You walked in sharp, then faded slow. Left your coat, took your shadow. Said you needed some room to feel new, but you forgot who held you. When the world bruised you blue, why did you cheat yourself for my love? You had a home in these arms, couldn't you see? No one loved you stronger. With me, love was for real, not a dream. The grass may be greener on the other side, but harder to chew than it seems. You were the best you when you were here with me, right here with me. You chased sparks, I kept you warm. You chased storms, I calmed the storm. You traded gold for a neon view, but do they know your middle name? Or how your coffee needs to? Why did you cheat yourself for my love? You had a home in these arms, couldn't you see? No one loved you stronger. With me, love was for real, not a dream. The grass may be greener on the other side, but harder to chew than it seems. You were the best you when you were here with me, right here with me. Maybe one night when the laughter thins, you'll hear my voice in a glass that spins. Oh yeah, you'll taste that truth you tried to undo. The sweetest thing you ever had was the hardest to lose, and it was you. Why did you cheat yourself for my love? You had a home in these arms, couldn't you see? No one loved you stronger. With me, love was for real, not a dream. The grass may be greener on the other side, but harder to chew than it seems. You were the best you